Anybody want to speak toward public comment?
Open that can of worms, is that how we're in?
Yeah.
Are you the official timekeeper?
There's a pretty blue X right there. You stand on the X,
Wonderful.
address your name.
All right, so
Either address or...
Commissioner, Mayor, appreciate the time tonight. Just kind of get out there and have some comments. Formally, my name is Dr. Timothy Tobit. People who know me, my name's Tim. My children call me Dad. It's one of the reasons I'm standing here tonight. So I want to think about the consideration of looking at this property that borders Riley and Lincoln Street.
You need to tell us your district and
Oh,
or address.
District 3, Riley Avenue. So with it, we're looking at things from a perspective of basically, when you look at the silhouette of this property, it has been graded as a commercial property, but it's sitting in the middle of all residential homes. You think about the detriment that it brings to public property, what it's going to do for your property value, resales, things of that nature, and also what you're looking at from a resource perspective. Up until a few years ago, until Clark Lance had developed the property, there wasn't even really areas close to there that even had sewer. So my biggest questions are, we can look at the price tag of whatever the offer may be from who's trying to sell it to you from the hospital perspective, but I'm going to bet you that you're going to double that easily just in trying to do prep. So for me, it's one of those things where we look around. I have 4 young children. And I guess the thing that I don't want to look out my back door of my home, and I've got people wearing orange jumpsuits looking at my daughter swimming in the pool. And so when we think about that, I know that there's other potential abilities. There's other properties that are available, and they are going to come at a cost, I'm well aware. But when we look at studies and we look at, hey, we need a jail, hey, we need a justice center, hey, we need a sheriff's office. We're in an industrialized area, so of course we do. That's going to help keep the status quo moving like it should. But the things we have to look at are, what's the feasibility? I'm so happy to hear that 270 beds was kind of a no. Because when you look at our numbers from 2020 through 2023, we had a low of 33 inmates back in 2020. And we've run about 87 up to the max of the 102 at times. You're talking about Putnam County at 252. When you look at their judicial system right now, that's how many beds they have. Do we really need to be pushing that envelope and say, hey, when you come to town, we've got the biggest, best jail? Because when people move, the conversation is, what's your infrastructure? How's your school? If we don't take care of the school part, we're going to need the 270 beds, I'm afraid. And so we've got to think about where's that process. But from looking at it from a property perspective, I just ask you to look as a group and think, okay, do we have options that don't kind of infer into folks? So with it, just take that into consideration, think about the other properties, but really kind of consider, you know, would you want this in your backyard? Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Anybody else? State your name and either your address or the district you reside in.
My name is Tanya Sullivan. I reside at 250 Willow Oak Drive in Smithville. I'm just here to address the concerns of the jail and potential. I realize that we need to, you as the commissioners need to do something to address the concerns. I've requested information from the county mayor today of asking what is the state requiring for the number of beds. I haven't gotten that information. I asked if there was a recommendation. I asked for paperwork for that today, but I haven't gotten that. But I'm asking that if this board would not put this in a residential area, whether it be on Riley Avenue or any other residence, and to keep it downtown. If there is property downtown that would be available, and I would like, even in a remodel or however you need to do that, to address the concerns that you have. I know surrounding counties have do not have the 272 beds. I'm not sure, you know, what number we're trying to obtain, but I think purchasing property and relocating is a mistake. We already have facilities, and we'd be paying today's prices to get what we have, and then adding to that. I just don't feel like that would be a responsible action. I'd like to compel upon you not to locate it in a neighborhood that would impact people's property value. We've worked really hard, the residents on Riley Avenue and that in the Oaks community, we've worked really hard. We have restrictions there, and this would be completely impeding on everything everyone's worked for. And it wouldn't be any different if it was in your backyard. And it's located downtown right now. I don't see why we would want to move that. I think there's property available that the county owns or can obtain, and I'd just like to compel you to keep it downtown and not abandon the downtown area. The courthouse is still viable. Even if you left the facilities and did a justice center, a full justice center, you know, this county still has to maintain that building. I mean, we still got to fix the heat and air. I understand, I spoke to somebody today, we hadn't had heat. We still have to maintain that. You're not saving any money. So I just would compel us to take a hard look at that and those numbers, and we may not get everything we want, but it would be nice to have some more beds. I understand that, not against that. But I am against moving it from relocating, purchasing land. I would be against that, and I would hope that you guys would do the responsible thing with the county's money.
All right, your time is.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sullivan. Scott did bring the assessment that you asked for about the amount. But I guess it's hard to get everything together when you got 14 commissioners packets you've got to put together and typing resolutions and things, so it's kind of hard to just stop everything you're doing.
Can I have it now? Does that work?
Yeah. I actually printed out more I figured there might be more people that want the assessment that was provided in the jail committee meeting we had. So. Yeah, no problem. My pleasure.
My name is Steve Mitchell. I'm not sure my district, but I live at 440 West Main Street, just off the easement that's off West Main. I think the house we purchased is actually where historically the Love Farm, I believe, was. I'm in that area. My family moved to Smithville about a year and a half ago. It was a real blessing because it was a chance for us to get back to Middle Tennessee. My wife and I are both from Middle Tennessee, and we've been gone for about 25 years. For work and different reasons, and we always wanted to get back to Middle Tennessee, and Smithville and DeKalb County provided a way for that to happen. It was more affordable than, obviously being in Nashville, and it reminded us of the Tennessee we grew up in. We just fell in love with Smithville and DeKalb County immediately, and we've just cherished our time here so far. Obviously, with the rumor that there could potentially be a plot of land off Riley, that's very close. We're just a property away from that. We look over to that. So I would do the same thing. Obviously, just ask that not be a consideration, because it is a beautiful little area of town. I mean, this is Mayberry. I recognize the hard work that all of you do to deal with things like jails and justice center, things that are real and keep the community running. But I just ask for just the sake of the quality of life in that area. Not even, obviously, the issues of property value come into it too, but just the quality of life of this community, especially in that area. I just ask that you not consider that if that ends up being a viable rumor. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Would anybody like to make any public comments about anything? Even not jail related? Okay.
I'm going to change the subject, not the jail. And first of all, I want to thank the mayor and the commission for doing everything you do. I've never been to one of these meetings, but there's a lot going on.
Yeah. But
My name is,
your name and either your address or district.
yeah, my name is Bruno Frazier. I'm at 455 Cave Hollow Road, down off of Dry Creek Road. Yeah, my interest in tonight is just raising awareness of the Wilder Hollow community. You know, we have a community down there that is around, I think, 1,100 acres or so, maybe more. That's just, it's more than that, I guess, in total. But back in the day, it's a thriving community. There were many houses back there. There were many people that lived back in that area. And they used Wilder Hollow Road as the main way to get in and out of the hollow. That's really the only way to get in and out of Wilder Hollow. And, you know, now there's not as many people back there. We have 7 landowners that live in there, 7 property owners. But it's still the same situation. We still have one way to get in and out of our land. And so Wilder Hollow Road is very important to us, just like it was back in the day. We found out recently through talking with people, it wasn't formally told to us or anything, that's landowners that I'm talking about, that there's potentially been some changes with Wilder Hollow Road. And the reason I'm here is to express the need for Wilder Hollow Road, and that all the residents and all the people that own land in there have one way in and out, and that's down Wilder Hollow Road. We understand that the county has a certain amount of maintenance money for roads, and we can appreciate that it's not much. We're not given much by the state, and I don't think you guys give them any extra, so they don't have a lot of money to operate. And I think Danny Hale does an excellent job at what he does, trying to make that money spread out amongst what all of his tasks are. But what we're asking is for everyone on the commission to be aware that Wilder Hollow Road is very important to us, and that it needs to stay on the state map. You know, I think it's already, you know, last year was on the county maintenance list. This year, I think it's not on that list, so it's been taken off the maintenance list. And, you know, I understand that, you know, there's only a certain amount of money to go around to maintain roads, so maybe it's a good idea that you just focus somewhere else, but it needs to stay on the map. And the reason it needs to stay on the map is because many of us would be landlocked and not able to get to our farms if that road was taken off of the map. So that's my real, what I want to convey is, you know, please, you know, keep in mind that Wilder Hollow is a very important road to the community. That's it. Thank you.
Any more comments from the public? Danny?
I'll explain about Wilder Hollow Road. About a year ago,
Stand on the spot.
you crossed.
State your name and district.
District 2, road supervisor. My heart on okay? Okay. Wilder Hollow Road, you have to cross a creek about, well, part of the creek is the road bed. So I just didn't feel comfortable doing all this through the creek, because you know how EPA is about the creek. So I called TDEC. I said, I want to make sure this is okay. There's not a residence up through there from where we voted last year to take part of this off the road list. I still kept 2/10 of it open before we make the first creek crossing. It's the only 2 houses that are on the road. It covers them. 2/10 of a mile of it's still open. It's still a public road. Even when it was a county road, there was 2 gates up you had to go through always, which is illegal. It's Class A misdemeanor right now, what it is. You block a road. So I called TDEC. They come there and looked at it. And after we crossed the creek for the 12th time, they said, can we turn around anywhere? Said, we've seen enough, so we don't want equipment in this on this road or nothing. I said, yeah, we got to go through this gate to turn around. So we went through a gate and turned around. So they told me I couldn't put equipment in there. So I crossed this job, told me what TDEC said. So we took the rest of the road off. We left 2/10 open, which comes off of Dry Creek and services them 2 houses. But we don't cross the creek for the first time. There's a turnaround spot right where you cross the creek first time. It's still a public road. Nothing changed. It's still a public road. They got access to their property. You know, nothing's changed. The road hadn't been shut down. We just can't take care of it anymore. You know, I as a servant to the county, I didn't want to get us fined $250,000, you know, for being in the creek, you know, I mean, through EPA and stuff. So that's why I contacted TDEC. So that's, I just want to explain about, why Wilder Holler is no longer on a county road, or the, what, Bruno's talking about, that part of it is not no longer on a road list. 2/10 of it still is, services them two houses. There's not another house from where we stop on up all the way through to Pea Ridge. So it's just not a wise way to spend taxpayers' money, plus it could get us fined a lot being in the creek and using the creek for the roadway. That's why it was took off. It's still a public road. They still have access to the land, so just want to tell everybody that.
Mr. Mayor, can I address it just, now I want to make sure I understand what you're saying. This is still a county road. It's still on the county road map. That don't mean you have to work it, but it's still on the county road.
2/10 of it is, the
Okay.
mileage changed on it.
But then it's not a public road if it's not on the county map, and they can gate it, and I can't get through it if I'm one of the 7 landowners back there. Am I correct?
That would be between them.
But it's not a
that's a
public
rule of
right of way
thumb.
though.
It's, well, it's, I didn't change none of that. All I done, we took it off the road. It's not a county maintained road
Right,
anymore.
I understand that.
It's still a public road.
But if it's a county road, it can't be gated, and I've got access to my farm if it's back there, if I was one of the 7 landowners. Now, by it being removed, every landowner back there can put a gate, put a lock on it. Well, if I'm the first one, I've got 6 others locked out. I'm just, you know, like, if it's me, you own land.
But they cannot landlock you. They cannot landlock you. Example, down Gibbons Holler Road, that's so far down, it used to be a gate crossing. We don't maintain that going on. There was like 8 locks on that one gate. Everybody had access. That's the same thing can go on here. I mean, it's not, we didn't stop the public road part of it. I mean, they still got access to their land. The county is no longer responsible for it. I cannot, I mean, they told me to stay out of the creeks and stuff with equipment, with the graders, stuff like that. That's what I'm gonna do.
Well, I understand that part.
And as far as the rest of them, like I said, we have public roads that are not county roads all across the county. You know what I'm saying? We have roads that have maybe 15 houses on them that are not county roads. They're public roads, but they're not county roads.
Well, then explain to me the difference then.
Yeah, that's what I'm still trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah, I
A
don't
public
understand
road,
the
a public road is something that multiple people use, but it's never been voted on by commissioners to be a county road, so it's not county maintained. It's up to those individuals to maintain their own road, all of their access. It's up to everybody that lives on that road.
And that road has never been county road.
Yes, it was
Yes.
county
And
road.
we voted
We-
last year.
To
year
take
before.
off certain, to stay out of the creek part of it, so we wouldn't get fined. Yes, what TDEC told us to do. 2/10 of it is still open, which services 2 houses. There's not a house from the point we stop at, the 2/10, there's not a house from there all the way to the top of Pea Ridge. No other residents through there for the house, for anybody living there.
So we're staying out of all the creeks. and
We're
that's what-
staying out all the creeks, we're not gonna get fined, we're
Okay.
doing what we was told to do by TDEC. So,
So
just
we're not
like,
going in any creeks in any of the county, on county roads.
nothing I know of. We don't travel through the creeks. It's, you're not allowed to use a creek, bed as a road bed. And at Wilder Holler, you probably travel half the length of this, complex here put together. In one spot of it, you probably travel half that length just in the creek, so it would be used as a road bed. But just want to tell everybody why that went down.
But still, the people will not have access to their property. I know where they're coming from, because I've had numerous calls and numerous people come by. I'm sure you have too. But those 7, the first man can lock them out. This is my property line, and it goes to here. I can put a gate at the beginning and end mine,
No.
and you can't get through.
Not legally, they
Well, what legally can they?
You can't
have they- We got
landlock,
legal stand on
you
this
can't,
private property.
you
it's not
can't
on the
landlock,
map.
you can't landlock anybody in their property.
And it sounds like it's established ingress and egress anyway.
But they'd have to have it in writing or somewhere, it better be on your deed or on something, or you are landlocked.
Yeah, that's still the right of way through there. It was a county road.
I mean, I understand you're not working it, but I don't understand why it benefited anybody to take it off the map. I can understand, there's a lot of county roads that are on the map. My understanding, unless it's changed, is part of the funding comes from out.
It's still
Do
on,
you not
it's
get
still
this
on,
county-
and it's still on the map. It's not been taken off of the map. It still shows the road going all the way through.
Right.
But the county does not fund, we take care of 2/10 of it's all we
Right, I
maintain.
understand, but if it's on the county map, and, because I may be wrong about this, but my understanding was, that for every mile or every tenth or however they do it, do we get funding per mile, per tenth, per whatever the distance is of roads we have? Is that sort of how it's,
No.
part of the funds come? How do they come?
It's not.
And that's what I don't know.
How do they come? State of Tennessee collects gas and diesel tax, okay?
How do they disperse it out? How do they know
When that's-
Cal gets this amount and this
When
gets
that's,
that?
when that's collected, state takes 50% off the top for their roads.
Okay,
The other 50% is divided between 95 counties based
Okay.
on population and land mass.
okay.
That's how they distribute that.
I didn't know if they done it by mileage we had.
No, mileage has nothing to do with it.
You know.
Where you buy your gas, Tennessee has nothing to do with it. As long as you buy in Tennessee, it all goes in the same pot.
Okay,
But I think you're basically saying, Danny, that state law, if that was the only access into their property, state law would protect that right of way to their property.
I'm
And
assuming,
any
yeah.
other landowner that put up a gate, even though you're saying there were 2 gates there, I'm assuming that those 2 gates still are maintained in such a way that anybody owning property in there is able to go through those gates.
I don't know, I haven't been back in there. I was told to stay out, and that's what I do. I maintain the 2/10 of it where the 2 houses are. Like I said, before we cross, make the first street cross. So. Any more questions?
So it can still be on the county road map, but not be county maintained.
Yes, it can be.
And that's
We
what
have,
it is.
we have several roads in the county, it's on the map.
So this is not unusual.
They're not maintained, no, no, they're not
It was,
maintained.
from my understanding, it was removed, the length of it was about 3 miles.
Part of it was removed. I
Uh-huh.
kept
The
two,
maintenance part.
I kept 2/10 of it open, I still maintain that, to where Miss France lives down there.
Mhm.
That part before we make the first creek crossing.
Mhm.
She's got a bar on her side, there's a good place to turn an ambulance around, fire wagon, whatever, emergency for them 2 houses. But it's only 2/10. Come off Dry Creek Road, you know where it's at. Going out there before we cross the creek first time, that's 2/10. So that's still open, that's still maintained by us, but from where it makes the first creek crossing till it comes up top Pea Reeds, that's no longer county maintained.
It sounds like to me that the misunderstanding here is what did it mean to take it off of your road list?
It
It
just
didn't
meant,
mean that it did not come off of a map, it didn't mean it wasn't still a public road, it just means that you were no longer gonna maintain the rest of that road, but you weren't maintaining the rest of that road anyway, because you couldn't go in the creek bed.
we was till TDEC told us to stop.
But that was last year.
Well, that was 2 years ago. Yeah, so just want to verify that for everybody. Any more questions? Thank y'all.
Did I use all my 3 minutes?
We only allow one person one time. Any more public comment from an individual that has not spoken? Address your name and either.
My name is John Daniels. I live on 600 Golf Club Lane, down by near the golf course. And the reason I'm here, I'm concerned about this property that you're working with. You haven't done it, so that's why I haven't said anything up to now. But when are you going to be getting into this a little deeper?
I'm not supposed to be taking questions during public comments, but afterwards I'll surely get that answer to you after the meeting.
Okay. All right, that's really all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Any more public comments from me? All right, any member of the board like to make a motion to adjourn? Unless,
second.
motion by Jeff, second by Myron, is there any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Yes.